The time is currently 6:01 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on this Sunday, September 22nd, 2024, the first official day of astronomical fall, which officially arrived at about 8:43 or 8:44 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time this morning. And in today's video, I'm going to be presenting to you all another Jweatherelnino YouTube weather video. So in today's weather video, we're going to be taking a look ahead through the end of 2024, temperature and precipitation forecasts, latest tropics updates, and ENSO or El Nino-Southern Oscillation updates. So first of all, as you can see here, we're going to be looking ahead at the latest official 30-day forecast from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, from 3 days ago on Thursday, September 19th, 2024. So for the monthly temperature outlook for October 2024, you can see above average temperatures favored for part of the north or part of the eastern United States, especially there in the northeast, as you can see. Also possibly for the mid-Atlantic areas, as well as areas from part of the Great Lakes, the eastern Great Lakes and eastern Midwest down through part of the Appalachians and southeast. And then also possible above average temperatures forecast for parts of the west, the southwest United States especially, into some of the Rockies and into your west down through central and east or western and central Texas. So with equal chances for above or below average temperatures forecast for areas in between. And for Alaska, you can see equal chances for a lot of the state, especially in the central United States. Central Alaska. Equal chances for above or below average temperatures. With above average temperatures, they're favored for northern parts of Alaska there. With below average temperatures possibly favored for parts for the southwestern part of Alaska. So for precipitation, for monthly precipitation outlook for October 2024 as well, we can see some below average temperatures forecast for a wide area of kind of near the central United States, especially there in the Four Corner states and part of the plains, especially southern plains states there, with slightly below average temperatures or precipitation. For some adjacent or bordering areas, with above average precipitation possible for along the east coast mainly, especially there in the coastal deep south. So and also Florida, as well as the northern northeast and New England areas there, as well as possibly for a sliver of the Northwest Pacific there, mainly across northern and western Washington state, as well as for western Alaska, especially there in southwestern Alaska, a little bit above average temperatures there. So with equal chances for the rest of the state of Alaska there, as well as equal chances for those areas in between for below average or above average or below average precipitation, equal chances for that for areas in between there. So for the 3-month outlooks, official forecasts, October, November, and December 2024, also from 3 days ago on Thursday, September 19th, 2024, we can see above average temperatures actually forecast for most of the United States, with a strong likelihood down there in parts of the southwest United States, as you can see, Also, especially there for eastern New England there, as well as a lot of Florida there, central and southern Florida there, and equal chances for the northwest and north central United States. And for Alaska, also above average temperatures there favored for northern Alaska, equal chances for the center part of the state there, and for southern Alaska, maybe slightly leaning towards below average temperatures there. For seasonal precipitation outlook, October, November, December 2024 as well, we can see some below average temperatures forecast for parts of the southern United States, in the south central, especially there for southeastern New Mexico and a lot of Texas there, or a large portion of Texas, I should say. Yes, so with above average temperatures, precipitation there, for the Pacific Northwest generally speaking, as well as possibly slightly above average precipitation there for the Great Lakes areas, Ohio Valley or Upper Midwest, and the Northeast as well, with equal chances for equal chances for areas in between once again. For Alaska, we can see above average precipitation for kind of almost the northern half of the state, as well as portions of the western Alaska. They're slightly leaning towards above average precipitation, and also a slight lean towards below average precipitation there for portions of the southern eastern state of Alaska, mainly there for coastal areas, with equal chances there in between. Now as we go ahead and take a look here at our NMME model, I think that stands for North American Multi-Model Ensembles, I believe. 2-meter temperature anomaly. This is in degrees Celsius, by the way, so a little bit more so for the anomaly that it would be in Fahrenheit. And as we can see, let's upload, so to October 2024 from the evening there of Saturday, September 7th, 2024 at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, valid for October 2024. We can see overall the greatest chance for above average temperatures possible there in the central United States, with areas with not as strong, with signals not as strong so for areas further west and east there in the United States, we even have slightly cooler temperatures possible just off the coast of part of the east coast there, and also, by the way, so please keep in mind, by the way, that this is a multi-model ensemble, so this is many different members of simulations put together, so they kind of get averaged out here over when we're looking here in the long range. And I think probably not this wide of an area we'll see above average temperatures. That's usually not the case, I believe, but that's what it's showing. The same kind of thing for November, western central United States, slightly more so than other areas for above average temperatures. Still an area possible of cooler temperatures, a little bit off, compared to average, off part of the east coast there, shifting a little bit further north maybe perhaps. And for December 2024, maybe that area of above average temperature slightly higher and shifting more towards the central United States there, with a little bit less, a little bit weaker signals closer to the west and east coast there. We still have an area of slightly cool temperatures possible, not as widespread, or at least not in this model simulation, I mean. I think, yes, so we can see that it's more off the New England coast there, I mean, and also, this is kind of, we're taking a look ahead at the next 3 months here, so I wouldn't expect all 3 months to look similar to this. I think this is kind of averaged out for November and December as well, similar to October for temperatures. And also now we're going to be looking at precipitation here on the same model simulation on tropicaltidbits.com here as well. So as you can see, it is showing below average precipitation possible for a lot of the western and eastern central and eastern United States there, I mean, with near average precipitation there, more likely for the west, well, the majority of the west, and also part of the north central United States, and also especially there in the Rockies as well. We can see for part of the southeast coast, we can see above average precipitation becomes more likely, and especially down there in the Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, which looks to, by the way, be or looks to have a good amount of tropical activity possibly over the next few weeks, which I think we're actually going to take a look at that a little bit, by the way. Some of that information there, by the way, and yes, anyways, November 2024 here, we can see below average precipitation there for a lot of the eastern United States possible, especially there for parts of the southeast or deep south, I mean, and also with near average precipitation possible for the western United States and part of the central United States there as well, and also for possibly for part of the west coast we could also be looking at a little bit below average precipitation. We actually see a little bit less, a little bit further, a little bit less anomaly, or I mean a little bit drier, I mean compared to average, I meant to say, for November 2024 as opposed to October 2024 for a lot of the Gulf of Mexico there, especially in the northern and north central Gulf of Mexico, with still above average precipitation possible for further south and east in the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean as well. And now for December 2024, we still see that below average precipitation there in the southeast, stretching up into the mid-Atlantic, a little bit up through the east coast actually, with especially there in the central United States actually, a lot of the United States, lower 48 states there, I mean, could be looking at near average precipitation on this model run. I mean, according to this model run, at least if this model run ends up being accurate, there, I mean, yes, so with the Pacific Northwest possibly seeing some above average precipitation there, especially right along the Pacific Northwest coast there, as you can see, and also some below average precipitation possible there, continuing for portions of California through December 2024 as well, and we can see that activity winds down for the entire Gulf of Mexico in this, according to this model run, even parts, a little bit of the Caribbean also as well. We can see that most of these areas are expecting possibly below average temperatures, and by the way, the tropics usually, tropical activity is usually not really existent as we head into December as tropical, or if it is, it's usually very little in general, because hurricane season ends on November 30th. That is the end of Atlantic hurricane season, just to clarify that, by the way. And actually I forgot to mention in the beginning of this video that some of the information is going to be different in this video compared to other weather, my previous weather videos, including looking at the main highlights or the main interest for the ENSO. So that's going to be much shorter and more towards the main points about what to expect for this upcoming fall and winter in terms of the Nino-Southern Oscillation. So, and I think that's probably maybe to more of you. I'm not exactly sure, but I would say that might be more of interest to a lot of people, but I can't say for sure, but that's what we're going to be doing in this video anyways. So let's go ahead and take a look here at our model predictions from ENSO, Nino-Southern Oscillation, from August 20, 2024, specifically August 19th, 2024 there. Yes, so we can see figure 6 forecast of sea surface temperature SST anomalies for the Nino 3.4 region. Figure updated 19 August 2024 by the International Research Institute, parentheses IRI for Climate and Society. We can see that from these statistical and dynamical models, we can see here that we can see the statistical averages are favoring actually more are leaning more towards an ENSO neutral, because La Nina would actually be 0.5 degrees Celsius or further below average in this area of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, but is actually greater than that line. So it would in fact fall into the ENSO neutral, sorry, I meant to say, which I think would actually be very interesting. I think ENSO neutral is kind of would not be the current expectation according to NOAA actually, so I think that could be interesting. But for the dynamical averages there, as you can see in the magenta shading, we can see kind of bordering on, or kind of a very weak La Nina possibly peaking at in the late fall time frame especially, but not by much more compared to the winter time there. As you can see, we're looking at meteorological winter, December, January, and February 2024 and 2024, 2025 there, right on the borderline kind of there of almost near the borderline there about, I would say, right on the borderline about of ENSO neutral and a weak La Nina. And now as we go ahead and take a look here at official NOAA CPC Climate Prediction Center ENSO or El Nino Southern Oscillation probabilities from September 2024, blue is La Nina shading, gray is neutral ENSO or neither El Nino or La Nina, and red is El Nino. So as we can see August, September, and October is more likely to end up for the 3-month period being ENSO neutral. ENSO neutral as opposed to La Nina, but it could still end up being La Nina there as well. And then La Nina becomes much more likely than ENSO neutral, and this forecast is actually September 2024, so we can see NOAA is still strongly favoring La Nina over ENSO neutral, which is also interesting, by the way. But we can see that in the fall and winter time here, as we can see, La Nina is considerably more likely than ENSO neutral, as you can tell, according to this specific forecast. Through even into January, February and March 2025, La Nina is still more likely than ENSO neutral in this graphic, but by the time we reach February, March, and April of 2025, it's near equal chances, very slightly favored, ever so slightly, ENSO neutral over La Nina, but it's very, very close here, as you can see, with very, very slight El Nino possibilities returning as we head into spring of 2025 here, but ENSO neutral is favored to prevail once we reach spring 2025, it looks like. Now, as we look ahead here at nhc.noaa.gov, so the National Hurricane Center, we can see 3 areas of interest here. This is from 2 o'clock p.m. EDT, Sunday, September 22nd, 2024, as you can see. So that's going to be the 2 o'clock p.m. update, by the way. Typically it's updated every 6 hours if we don't have an active tropical cyclone or potential tropical cyclone. So that's what this update is looking at, by the way. As we can see here, Disturbance 1 now went down from a 10% chance to a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. Formation chance through 48 hours and through the next 7 days. Both low near 0%. So low near 0%, and then Disturbance 3, 50% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. In the next 4 hours, low near 0%, and then a medium 50% chance that would be in the next 7 days, up 10% from this morning, by the way. And then we can see that this is our biggest area of interest right now. We can see here, we can see formation chance through the next 48 hours, medium 40%, but formation chance through the next 7 days is high 80% chance. So this one is likely to develop into a tropical depression, tropical storm during the next few days, as we can see here. And that would be up 10% in the next 7 days from this morning, and then up 30% during the next 4 hours. So chances are significantly increasing, possibly in the next few days, for development or formation of this tropical system. So that would be important to keep an eye on, definitely. 97L invest. We can see we actually have some forecasts to look at. Kind of spaghetti plots, or we kind of have the spaghetti forecast here. Let's look at this here. We can see we have the black line is kind of the average of these model simulations from the GEPS tracks. A lot of them you can see go into the deep south, a strike possibly on western Louisiana. This says 988 millibars and 991 millibars here for the low pressure center. We can see that it looks like this would be on the weaker side of things, maybe only tropical depression or tropical storm, actually. Maybe a little bit stronger right when it makes landfall, but a lot of tracks favoring the central and eastern Gulf of Mexico, making landfall and moving through that area. And that would probably, by the way, be near the end of this coming week. Yes, so, and also as we take a look here, this is a view of the north of the tropical North Atlantic on the GFS model 6-hour average precipitation rate in millimeters per hour, MSLP mean sea level pressure, and HPA in 1,000 through 500 millibar thickness parentheses DAM, which stands for decameters there, by the way, actually. Yes, so the thickness, so that kind of measures pressure level from the surface or near sea level up through the mid levels of the atmosphere here. And as we can see, this is, by the way, from 12Z 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time today. So if we go a little bit further here, we can see this strengthening storm here, already 993 by 8 a.m. on Tuesday, September 24th, 993 millibar low pressure center there. And it keeps strengthening, and the small run actually strengthens rapidly, already down to a major hurricane, probably 955 millibar low pressure center there by 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday, September 25th. And then it keeps getting stronger, and then it actually makes landfall as a major Category 4 hurricane, at least 935, kind of. This is on the earlier side of things a little bit, actually. Thursday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, September 27th. We can see this would have very major implications. This would definitely bring very strong winds, probably effects from significant or major effects from storm surge if this were to happen. It looks like this model run is definitely an outlier in terms of the strength. Well, maybe an outlier, I can't say that for sure. But it's something to watch, definitely, nonetheless. And here, as we can see, it weakens quickly here. As it goes over land here. Yes, as it goes over land, it weakens, it kind of fizzles out there in the southeast United States there, by Friday night into Saturday, or Friday into Friday night, September 27th into September 28th, and that kind of fizzles out. And I think this is probably associated with our next tropical wave. We can see out here near the central tropical Atlantic Ocean there. We can see that it kind of stays steady there in the 980s millibar low pressure center almost through the end of September, but then it starts strengthening here a little bit, kind of stays steady in the 970s, and then this wants to weaken a little bit as it curves much further out into the north central Atlantic on this model run. And we can see another developing low pressure center, tropical system, probably 996 millibars low pressure center as we head into the beginning of October. So this is kind of further out, so definitely take this with a grain of salt, by the way. And as we can see, it kind of develops a little bit, becomes probably tropical storm or Category 1 hurricane, maybe, by this point, as we head into the morning of Friday, October 4th on this model run. And then we can see it strengthens, it deepens further. We can see this would be kind of approaching, I think, major hurricane status Saturday afternoon, October 5th, so that's almost 2 weeks from now. So definitely don't pay too much attention to this specific model simulation, but this is just a possibility here, as as that would be a possibility. Yes. We can see also, by the way, I just noticed another weak low impacting kind of the DC area in portions of the southern mid-Atlantic there, off the borderline here. Borderline kind of here. Yes, so kind of off the borderline there. Of kind of near the southeast Virginia and I think Outer Banks, North Carolina coast there. And we can see as we head to the end of the model run, we can see that this becomes down to a 946 millibar low pressure center, still out in that open Atlantic. But we can also see a weak low pressure center, possibly another tropical system developing in the Gulf of Mexico here by the time we reach the afternoon of Monday, October 7th, which you should definitely take with a grain of salt, because that is now about 15 days out. So yes, but as we get to the end of the model run here, we can see that this system goes further into the central Atlantic, 948 millibars for that system, by the way, but possibly another system here, maybe not as strong if this forecast is correct. Obviously, we can't really put very much stock into this forecast as far out as I was alluding to, by the way, there, but it could strike in the same region, possibly, so we'll have to see about that. But actually, the last thing that we're going to go ahead and do is look at another view of the north central Atlantic, or the northern tropical Atlantic Ocean, but on the European AI model. This is going to be the 06Z model, so that last night's overnight into this morning hour, and we can see as we go ahead a little bit further, we can see that a very weak tropical low starts to develop in the Caribbean. It gradually strengthens, moves toward the Gulf of Mexico, into the central and eastern Gulf of Mexico. It doesn't become quite as strong in this model run, down to the 970s, making landfall in kind of between the northern and central Florida there, more towards the northern part of Florida, I would say, and then kind of fizzles out and moves towards the southeast Mississippi Valley area, and then weakens out there by the time we reach near the end of the week, or around the end of the week there, I should say. And also we can see a very, very weak low developing, also probably associated with that same tropical wave developing off the west coast of Africa there, as we reach almost about a week from now. And then we can see that it kind of moves here. We actually have one almost right near it, maybe another tropical low possibly. We even have one off here that hasn't moved off the coast of Africa, so we could be looking at multiple tropical waves. But of course, when they're this far out, we don't know if they're even going to develop into a tropical system or not. But when we keep going here, yes, so we can see here, we can see that it develops further, or it strengthens a little bit here, down to the 990s millibar low pressure center, 996 there in the central Atlantic. By the time we reach 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Friday, October 4th, we kind of see that one strengthening a tiny bit more as we head a little bit further down the road. 972 millibar low pressure center, 8 p.m. Saturday, October 5th, 2024. And then 960s, I think, goes back up to 970. It's 968 down there, and then 970. When we fast forward, I mean, they're 6 hours later on 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Sunday, October 6th, 2024. And then as we reach the end of the model run, we can see that it actually strings a little bit more down to a 964 millibar low pressure center, so maybe a Category 2 hurricane. If this model simulation becomes, if it is correct or if it is accurate, but of course, we will just have to wait and see, as it is about 15 days away. We'd have to see if this even develops at all. But as of now, the interesting thing is that both the GFS and this European AI model run both kind of are both agreeing, both in agreement not only on the track, it looks like possibly maybe in the same area tracking as for that Gulf of Mexico system in the central and eastern Gulf of Mexico, or towards that area, especially at first, I mean there. Yes, at first, but also in the central tropical Atlantic system, probably associated with that tropical wave that the National Hurricane Center there, I mean, is also monitoring. So it's also in agreement with a little bit the intensity, but especially developing around the same time in a very similar location overall, especially when we're taking a look at more than a week and especially near 2 weeks out into the future. But anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope that you all enjoyed watching this detailed weather video update, and I hope that you learned something interesting, and have a nice day, everyone, or have a nice rest end to your weekend. I mean, also, I will see you all in the next weather video, or in the next Jweatherelnino YouTube weather video there, I should say. Yes, so have a nice day, everyone. Bye.